I need to share my screen first of all. And thanks guys for getting me out of my comfort zone and making me do this. See, it won't share. Why won't? Here we go. Hang on a minute. Okay, just get this guy up here. One more. Okay. Have you ever opened up a puzzle box and looked at all the pieces and thought, how on earth am I going to take all these pieces and make them fit to create a beautiful image? Well, that's kind of my Juice Plus story. The first puzzle piece of which was meeting Dr. Tran many years ago as a friend. And as I'm moving along the puzzle, the next puzzle piece was getting so sick that I needed her as a doctor. Then the next piece going along was her trying to help me heal. And then the next piece was her introducing Juice Plus to me. And whoa, what a big piece that was. Then the next piece was me healing and actually getting better. And then the next piece after that was wanting to share this with others to help them get better. But then the best piece of all was getting a team together to help me do that on a much grander scale. And that's what I've done. So when I was asked to do this, first of all, it scared me, the bejesus out of me, but I did it, and I'm happy to share with you how I got here. More importantly, or more specifically, on how I developed my customers and my business prospects. So, but before I do that, I'd like to share with you 5 little tips that I've learned along the way, or that I've implemented, that have helped me grow my business exponentially. Now, they're not textbook, but these things are things that I do from my own personal assessment that I needed to do to become successful. And the first of which is, whether they're a business prospect or a product customer or prospect customer, have no preconceived notions about them whatsoever. Oftentimes I've been so wrong when I thought one way about a person, and they turned out to be the complete opposite, and both positive and negatively. So just talk to everyone and don't have any preconceived notions about them. But I'll tell you what you can do is assume positive intent. And I'll tell you where I gleaned these 3 beautiful words. They were from my Brave Leaders course that I took this last spring. And I'm telling you what, as a plug for Brave Leaders, if anybody ever gets the opportunity to take this course, do it, because it really changed my perspective, my outlook on so many levels. So just do it. Now, what those 3 words mean to me is I need to assume that they want to hear what I have to say and that they need what I have to offer, because they do, because we all know that everybody needs Juice Plus. The third step is to stop listening to the chatter in your head. You know, those little voices that needle at you and tell you, no, don't, this is dangerous, don't do this, we don't want to do this, which I've been guilty of many a day, as Brenda said. Just stop listening to them, because you know what? Those voices are the voice of fear. And don't listen to them, because they prevent us from moving forward. And we're trying to grow a business. Staying stuck isn't the way to do it. And you know what those little voices also do is they cause us to tell stories to ourselves. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not skilled enough. I'm not seasoned enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not perfect enough. Well, that last one was me. And that stems from being the child of a colonel, growing up where perfection was a way of life. And I could never achieve it. So I had to get rid of that, because that was baggage. And you know what? Baggage, if you don't get rid of it, it'll define you. And again, you can't grow a business with baggage. So, and the last little tip is, let your prospects feel your care, concern, and excitement. Smile when you're calling them or texting them, because you know what? That positive energy is going to come through to them on the other end, and they're going to feel it. So treat them with supreme kindness and basically love them like family. Now, we all have our memory joggers, which contain our list of 100 contacts that we want to either invite as a customer or a business prospect. And I'm constantly adding or subtracting from that list. And that list is found on the Freedom Revolution. And another little jewel is this one, which is also found on the Freedom Revolution. If you want to find it, go to thefreedomrevolution.com. If it asks for the password, it's revolution, all lowercase. And then click on the A to Z tab. And then from there, you go to the search and you type in, who do I talk to? And this little jewel will pop up. And whenever I think I've exhausted all my prospects on my Jogger list, I'll come back to this, and I can always think of somebody new to send it to. Family and friends is a great place to start with when you're talking, and especially when you're new, because you know what? They're going to be way more forgiving as you're learning to talk the Juice Plus talk. And service industry people. Oh my goodness, there's such a great group to tap into. Hairdressers, for one. They're exposed to all kinds of chemicals every day, and they're standing on their feet all day long, and they're exhausted, and they need Juice Plus. Not only do they need Juice Plus, they may want the added income that Juice Plus can provide as a business. So if they say they're too busy, then tell them about the wellness coordinator program. Help them out. As far as service industry people go, my own Megan Henn, little superstar QSC, she's an esthetician, and I was introduced to her through microblading my diminishing eyebrows several years ago, and she's now killing it in the business. So tap into the service industry people. And one little tip that I might tell you about on this form is don't be afraid of their title. You know, if it's the owner, the manager, the CEO, or a doctor, you know what? They need Juice Plus too. And as far as I can tell, they put their pants on one leg at a time as well. So you've got your list. Now what? Well, use every opportunity to bring Juice Plus into the conversation. And I'll give you a couple examples of that. Just recently, a couple weeks ago, I was at my community pool reading my leadership book from Brave Leaders, and this little girl and her mommy were there. And the little girl wanted her mom in the pool in the worst way. And she kept begging, Mommy, come in, Mommy, come in. And finally she said, Mommy, please set the timer for 7 minutes. I'll give you 7 minutes to get in the pool. Well, I bust out laughing. One, I love precocious children as long as they're not my own. And I just turned my book towards my mom and I said, now that's leadership. And she just laughed. She says, yeah, she's a piece of work. I said, well, I'm reading this book on leadership, and that was classic for my business. And she said, yeah, I'm reading for work right now too. And I said, oh, really? What do you do? And she said, well, I'm a director for a foundation for leukemia and lymphoma. All I needed to hear is like, oh my goodness, I can't hear the big C word without telling you what exactly it is that I do. She invited me over and we ended up having a 30 to 45-minute conversation. And the little girl joined in. Another great example was this last winter. I was in Florida, about to step into the hot tub for my 1 hour of daily sun allowance and SUN. And the two ladies were conversing about autoimmune diseases. And the one said to the other, yeah, if you get one autoimmune disease, you tend to get multiples. And I stepped in and said, yeah, I've got 8. And she said, what? And I said, yep, I rattled off all 8 to her. And she says, wow, what are you taking for that? And I said, nothing, but fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Well, the next day she came up, she became a quad and a shake customer, her and her husband both. So use Juice Plus in every conversation possible with your family, your friends. There's always a way to implement Juice Plus into that conversation. Facebook, we also converse on, and oftentimes people will share their needs, whether health or wealth. We'll send them a private message. As an example, I'm a member of a lupus support group page on Facebook, and they're always sharing their flares and their setbacks and their issues. Well, I'll send them a private message saying, hey, I saw your post. I'm so sorry for what you're going through. I'd love to share with you what I'm doing that turned my health around. If you'd like to learn more, here's my phone number. And so oftentimes they'll call me. But regardless, when you're talking to them, ask leading questions to ascertain their needs, whether it's for health or wealth or both. And when they answer your question, ask more questions to really delve in so that you know how best to share with that person, because each one is different. So now that you're conversing with them, what's next? Well, you get permission to share information with them. You know, the company has taken the guesswork out of this equation for us because there is a great toolbox from which to glean information. One of the things that I really like are the recordings page on Facebook. Every morning I go on a power walk for an hour and I'll listen to a new recording or 2 a day. And I'll immediately think of team members or customers that I need to send that information to. And I'll often send it to my prospects as well, because I've asked enough questions that I know their needs. So I'll go to that recordings page, do a search on that particular health issue that they've talked about, and I'll copy and paste it and send it to them. Another great tool is our Freedom Revolution, and that houses all of our business and product videos. My favorites to share for the product are Bridging the Gap, and the 2 by Dr. Jan Roberto on the omegas and the shakes. I love to send the business videos too. My favorite is Come Join Us. And then if the person is employed, I'll get the most closely related video to the job that they have and send that video. We have them on teachers, on entrepreneurs and doctors and so forth. So I'll send them the video that closest matches their current position. For those of you that like to develop business on social media, our Juice Plus Insights, which is off of our virtual office, has a plethora of social media images that you can share and explain our Juice Plus mission. Another great tool that's not only great for partner training that Elaine and our upline NMDs made for our use is the teamextreme.dropmark.com. It houses all of these in one great location so that you're not having to search around for all of them separately. It also houses the Healthy Living Revolution, which is the website that we share with our customers. One thing that I do for all of you iPhone users is there's a notes section on your phone. I'll listen to a recording or have videos or articles that have really touched me and that I want to have close at hand. I'll copy and paste those into my notes page, and I've kind of created my own personal library. And it's great for when you're talking to someone that, let's say they say, oh, my brother has cancer. You think, oh my goodness, I just have this video that's so packed with information called Striding Through Cancer. Would you mind if I send it to you? And oftentimes they're going to say, of course, and then you get their phone number and you can send it to them right away. So another way that we can develop our prospects is to invite them to any events, any and all events. Now, right now, we can't do many live events because of Corona. However, we can, like Elaine said last week, we can still have a cup of coffee or lunch outside with them if they're open to it. But regardless, invite them to virtual events. They're so important. Elaine puts on the One Simple Change event once a month, which is great for inviting your prospects and your customers too. It explains why we need Juice Plus, what it is, and it's so packed with information. Same thing with our physician events. Last month, Elaine and Dr. Du Bois did a great one called Health and Wealth. And I invited customers to that and actually got a new customer from that. Dr. Sears, Dr. Mitra Ray, Dr. Phillips, Dr. Carol Watson, all of them have done great events, and we just need to get the information out to them. You know, if our prospects and customers had to go to a medical conference and pay to hear these doctors speak, they'd pay a fortune. But our company does this for us for free. And so utilize every opportunity to invite people to these. Juice Plus TV on Facebook also does twice a month great events. They have phenomenal speakers, and you just invite your prospects and customers to that as well. You can also start a live watch party straight from the Facebook page, which is kind of fun. And then for our existing customers, the shred is such a great tool to broaden our business. Not only do the customers, are they already on the capsules, but they need the shakes to do the shred. Now, Brenda does this monthly for us. It's so full of support, interaction, and education. Not only is it a 10-day detox, but it can lead to a permanent lifestyle change. So now you've invited and you've sent information. What's next? Well, you need to follow up. Simple as that. You wouldn't pick up your football at halftime and go home, would you? No, you'd stay and finish the game. So follow-up is so important. I follow up after I send info or they've attended a virtual event. I'll follow up the very next day. Now, oftentimes I'll know that they haven't had time to look at the information they've sent them. But you know what that does is it puts me back in the forefront of their mind and makes them want to go back and look at the information that I sent them. And I always ask them if they receive the information, if they have any questions for me. Well, 9 times out of 10, they will have questions. And then I answer them and go on from there. Now, if they don't respond after your first attempt, don't worry about it. People get busy. Follow up again. Remember, we're assuming positive intent here. But unless after 7 to 10 times and they're still unresponsive, you might assume you need to move on. It's the classic, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. People like to have follow-up. They like being sought after because, again, it shows how much you care. And if you're in this business, you care. So next we have to do is establish a relationship, build that trust. Let's say they're not a customer yet. Ask what other information they need to assist in their decision. Educate them further with disease-specific videos or, again, the business-specific videos. Even if they don't join you right now, over time they will, because you've established a relationship and you've kept that door open. Now let's assume positive intent that they are your customer. And once they're your customer, you've got to give customer care. It's paramount. Now, Addie 3 weeks ago did a phenomenal job on customer care. So I'm not going to reinvent the wheel on that one, and I'm not even going to try to compete with that one. And her post or her sharing that week was just phenomenal. And I believe it's posted on Boxer and or Team Extreme. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, go back and take a look at it. But this is my particular care schedule. The day I sign them up as a customer, I send them a welcome letter. And I got this from Brenda. It's a 2-page document, and it basically explains what Juice Plus is, what it's going to do for their bodies, how to take it, and then the second page is basically good things that they can look out for once they start taking their own Juice Plus. So I'll follow up in 4 to 5 days with a phone call to see if they got their order and see if they have any questions. And then I reiterate then that they need to take 2 out of each bottle every day, take it with lots of water, and to be consistent taking it every day. Then I'll check in with them in a week to see if they have any questions. And usually they do. I answer those. And again, I take the opportunity to thank them and let them know how glad I am that they're taking charge of their health and flooding their bodies with whole food nutrition. Same thing in 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months. And you know, part of the reason why it's selfish, because I love hearing positive feedback. I love hearing how well my customers are getting. Just this last week, I had a customer tell me that her husband, who has Parkinson's and was pretty severe, the doctors gave up hope on him and said that he just needed to be institutionalized until he dies. And she wasn't willing to accept that. So she came to me for Juice Plus. Within 2 months, I talked to her just before a 2-month checkup. He is no longer having hallucinations. He was having severe ones. She says, we're no longer feeding people that don't belong at our dinner table. And she said that he is taking his dog to the dog park and meeting his friends. And she said he's acting normal. This is within 2 months. So it's those check-ins are just as much for us as it is for them. Then I always check in 10 days prior to their shipping out, because no one wants to get an order before or that they weren't expecting. I will ask them if they want me to expedite it or if they want me to just let it ship it normal, or I could even delay it. Whatever their choice is what I do for them. So the best source of, I think, prospecting is referrals. And it's the highest compliment that a customer can pay us is a referral. You know, when customers experience great benefits from Juice Plus and they get great customer care, they're going to want to share with others. And, you know, sometimes they won't, but that's okay. Don't be afraid to ask them. Hey, now that you're getting such great benefits from Juice Plus, is there anyone you know that you'd like for me to share the benefits of Juice Plus with? And oftentimes they'll think of someone and they'll send you a name. So get those referrals. So now where do you find business prospects? Elaine explained last week in the call that 15% of our new partners are going to come from our current customer base. Remember the lady in the hot tub? Well, that was our quad queen, Dot Kelly, and she's killing this business right now, just because of a conversation in a hot tub. Nonetheless, the strategy is just the same as for customer prospects. So first, use every opportunity to bring Juice Plus into the conversation. Assess their needs, whether it's income, community, fun, all the above. Use our toolbox. Invite them to events to meet the team and to learn how we do the business. Invite a 3-way call with your upline. Brenda's been phenomenal about helping me with three-way calls. They're, your upline is there to help, and they're happy to do it. Follow up. Again, don't pick that football up at halftime. Finish the game. Establish a relationship with them. Love them like family, because you know what? They are. And once they're your partner, do regular check-ins with them. See how you can help them grow their business. Invite them to this coaching chat. Every Monday I get fired up by being on this call. I always think of something new that I need to do. And you're never too old to learn, or been in the business too long to still learn more. Send those partners recordings, because as they're learning the business, they're going to appreciate it, and they're going to listen to them. And have them set up three-way calls with you, with their prospects. Just continually help them to grow the business like you've grown. So what do you do next? Well, you lather, rinse, and repeat. It just gets easier after each new customer and partner. Be enthusiastic and have fun. And you know what? Just like I did, I hope that all of you get to put the pieces of your own Juice Plus puzzle together perfectly. Thanks so much, and I'll take any questions if you have any.